her voice. We have with us former Assistant Minister of Information. He is also a researcher. He's one who lives life on a day-to-day basis. Life is a celebration for him, nothing to ever worry over. So we say, Jacob Jala, welcome.
Thank you very much.
How come, wait, how come not getting, let's give you another try.
Sure. Thank you very much.
No.
I'm,
Let's try again.
hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, sounds better.
Yeah, no, sure. Thanks very much for this opportunity. You're quite right. Life is a celebration. Every day is festival day. So we're here today, of course, to share our thoughts to the on the President's annual message, the SONA. Obviously, you know, I come from the CMC, and my political leader, Musa Hassan Belete, yesterday delivered.
That was a quick reaction.
Absolutely.
Were you part of those who got the president's speech way before he delivered it? Because how could you?
I don't know about that, but yes, sure, we did deliver a message. We were at our party headquarters yesterday up to maybe 10 o'clock or so. And Mr. Musa Hassan Belete, who is a rising star in Liberian politics, is here to deliver something fundamentally, radically transformative, deliver his reply to the president's annual message. And I think it was a fantastic delivery, and we'll spend some time today, unpacking some of the things he said and some of the great programs and new agenda, creative agenda we represent. Okay. We have some time to go into that.
Yeah. Thanks so kindly. We also have with us the current managing director of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, formerly worked at the Ministry of Finance and was... Jacob, why you said Benedict called you by the to him?
No, I said Mo and Ali should sit down together.
That is Benedict and Mo.
Yeah, Benedict and Mo.
Why you want them to sit down together?
He know about Mo Ali reassignment to Great Crew. So the boss man a fun play for you, Great Crew.
So we have with us Mo Ali, the current managing director.
So everything I tell about that Grand Cruise topic is really funny because the moment Benedict asked Minister Twet to do the reassignment, then the man found a house.
Oh, the phone house?
Some kind of mud house they were carrying the picture with the generator and the AC. Anyway, Julius, thank you so kindly for the invite. I'm always happy to be in the company of Benedict and Jacob. Politics aside, Jacob has been a very long-term friend. We both hailed from the Student Unification Party, even though I was there before him. And then we did some work at the Ministry of Planning. And then I got to know Benedict at the Ministry of Finance. So we are all friends, and I guess we all discussed Liberia. We see development approach from different perspectives, and that's why we don't agree on at most times. We come with different conclusions and different methods, and to convince the public on whose method is the right way. And I guess our discussion today is tailored toward the State of the Republic address by the President yesterday. And I hope we can have a fruitful civil discussion as we've always had. And then it's intended to educate the public. There are things that the President said that many people did not capture. I hope this conversation will bring to light some of those things. Thank you.
The former finance minister Samuel Twet, in an interview on Freedom, admitted that Mo was the only person that we took from there that we really
Yeah, let me tell you how that whole stuff came about. So, just 1 minute. I have a background in water sanitation and health engineering. So I requested a transfer from finance ministry after they perpetually sent me to TBA to be arranged or orchestrated by my friend Benedict. And then I participated in the Bring Back Our Money protest. Okay. Understandably, no government will accept that. And so they thought we were not sacking, but we'll send him somewhere.
That he said we not want to go.
He said we not want to go. So my transfer, I had decided to take a transfer, and I asked Minister Twe, and they agreed. They wrote the CSA. CSA got in touch with Enfield because I can fit there based on my educational background. And so the transfer should have happened that week. Then the protest happened that week. So right after the protest, that was September 24, by the time I got through the protest, I received a call from the HR. They say, oh, your transfer. So they wrote CSA. They say, we're revoking that man transfer to Enfield. We're now transferring him to Grand Cru. And so Grand Cru did not have, by law, the Ministry of Finance does not have a director position in any county. It's only in Monrovia, and I was a director. So I just say, okay, well, man, Benedict or Joe, I'm going to do my opposition politics.
Benedict, former assistant minister for planning, welcome to the OK conversation. At least you have an opportunity to respond to this today.
Well, I think it's a pleasure to always talk about the country. It will be important if MD Mo Ali will transcend a little bit from the propaganda to see himself as a managing director and state the truth. I was never behind his removal or whatever he claims.
But you were a bossman.
Wait. Mo was never put to TBA. If he challenges me, I can pull his regional consultation report. Mo Ali was one of the regional coordinators for the PAPD consultation. How can you say that? The PAPD consultation started around February, March, April, and we ended around June. I got his report. For some confidentiality, I will not want to post, but if he pushes me, I can post a report. You will see it. So he can't say that we put him to TBA. More work on the PAPD. His insight is within the PAPD. Like he said, right?
Basically, I told you one time he said I was lying. I didn't contribute to the writing of the PAPD.
No, you myself didn't discuss that. I even justified that we were never even chasing people. We were incorporating other knowledge. We incorporated you. Most of the directors who did the regional consultation for the PAPD were not seditious. For example, Mo Ali. For example, what the other guy? Maurice Kroma. Maurice Kroma was director leading one of the regions. You're now a CDC man. For example, the director who is there again for the PIU. What's the old man name? What my old man name? Emmanuel Williams. Emmanuel Williams is now a CDC man. So I'm just saying.
How Julius, one correction quickly. So they transferred me to to TBA and brought Semeko as the director of that unit.
Okay. So listen. Semeko was the director for PIU. So don't mess up the issue here. Mo Ali will never transfer. If you let him tell you that he didn't partake in the PAPD consultation, he did. He got a report.
So how the Grand Cru came?
He just said it. Mo Ali stayed with us up to June, July, and he decided to go protest to bring the government down. This is where the administration felt that, you know what, if Mo will be, we have been very liberal. That's one of the very good aspects of Minister Tua. He's very liberal. We didn't move people. So that's where they decided, or the administration decided to transfer him to Grand Cru.
But being a friend of brother, yourself saying it and then smiling. Yes. Why you smiling?
Being a brother and a friend, I did that against my administration, and today that's the reciprocal we're receiving. I wrote administration. I called him personally. The reason I'm bringing that is because he said something that is not right. I called him personally. I said, Mo, I will do something for you. I will write administration. And we talk so many things behind the scene that I'm orientating you before you go, because as watch director, he was reporting to me. Even Semeko was reporting to me. So I covertly wrote that letter to administration or to Minister Tua that, yes, you are assigned this man in the region, but I had to carry him through orientation and by stopping before he leaves. From September to October to December,
and they owe me 3 more money.
No, Mo Ali didn't go to the region, but he was still being paid.
No.
Salary is not in my range. So I'm just telling you, he was being paid. But
no, you're actually that's not, that was out of you.
No, they did not do.
But they actually blocked the salary.
Your first statement here was that I was part of doing this. I did this.
Hey man, you were in your unit. Oh. But I don't think we should waste our time. But the salary was blocked for October, November, and December. And every time I'm Minister Tua, I'll tell him, say, man, my 3 months salary, anytime I meet you, you pay some. As in, always, I think one time you were around, I met Dito, I said, my 3 months salary, you always pay, they block it.
So I was the savior for Mo Ali, but he doesn't recognize it.
Okay, savior.
Once a boss, always a boss. Okay, so folks, we are here to discuss the president's annual address to the legislature. So what we will start with, we will meet with Benedict to give a general overview. Let me go to the stopwatch on this one, your introductory.
The people who get their speech, they give overview. Okay, go ahead.
I know exactly what I'm doing. Mo will be the second person. Let me find the stopwatch before. So I'll give each of you 3 minutes to give your general overview of the SONA before we start going into details. So, Benedict, your time starts now.
So what I can say is that every presentation from the president or any president has a foundation. And it is informed by data, it is informed by source. The SONA largely is informed by the brainchild of the government. That brainchild is the arrest agenda. And I have repeatedly said the fact that the arrest agenda, the economic logic of the arrest agenda is flawed. The fact that the arrest agenda builds its sources measurement on GDP, on GNR, gross national income, in this contemporary world, makes the whole national development plan an archaic and colonial national development plan. On the basis of that, every succeeding report that will come out of that, it will always try to be tailored towards that. If it is not tailored towards that, then it has to be fabrication of lies. And the reason why it can't continue to be tailored towards the arrest agenda, because all of our partners, our major partners, have said to the government, and I repeated that this morning, when the arrest agenda was launched, sometimes in January, the World Bank launched what we call the Economic Memorandum. In that Economic Memorandum, the World Bank says to the government, because the government says, according to the president, they want to move GDP per capita to 1,030. 1,030 means that Liberia will be a middle income country. So the World Bank says the way the economy is growing, on the average 5.5% up to 2029. If that continues that way, and what this government is doing, if it continues that way, the arrest agenda cannot achieve its objective. It cannot make Liberia a middle income country. To make Liberia a middle income country, it will take up to 2050. On the basis of that, the government didn't care to revise the arrest agenda. So they cannot go back to it because it's illogical. When the president took the cabinet to Tubmanburg to discuss about job creation strategy, when it came back to Monrovia, the next day, the World Bank launched again their country program framework document. In that country program framework document, the World Bank advised this government that, look, you know why? This current economic model that you are using cannot create jobs. You need to reset. Even though you mention in your arrest agenda that you want to reset, but well, what you are doing, the economy will not be reset. You are still bringing in mining companies, depending on mining sector for the economy to grow. So the speech was a combination of a flawed foundation and a product of lies.
A combination of a flawed foundation and a product of lies. Benedict Koluba, right there. We go to Mo Ali to give us his general overview of the president's annual address.
Thank you, Julius. I will now attempt to debunk the misgivings and misstatements of Benedict, because I guess he himself realizes that, or he realized that he misspoke. The president's annual message yesterday was a report to the Liberian people through the legislators of what the government has achieved. And those were what we call in M&E, monitoring evaluation. He was setting the achievements against the targets set. Did we achieve? Largely, handsomely. So the president took 1 hour, 25 minutes to outline his achievements and outline his legislative agenda for 2026, both his legislative and development agenda. These things are coming out. Some of the data that were provided, some of the information, some of the numbers, if not all of them, are backed by facts, by both international partners. My brother Benedict talked about international partners, said the arrest agenda is antique, is this, and he failed to mention any of them. Now, we have got data from the IMF, from the World Bank backing most of the things that the president said. And the president took his time to touch on the economy, on education, the achievements in the educational sector, the achievements in the agricultural sector, the achievements in the health sector, the job creation the number of jobs that have been short-term jobs that have been created in those sectors. The president took his time to talk about the road network that we are constructing and what we will do. The president talked about the 285 yellow machines that have become a dreaded nightmare for the opposition people. And the president talked about the Pavifort deal, which is going to see the construction of a 4-lane road from St. Paul Bridge to Cape Mount Boadosa up to Tottenham, up to Rabosport, the Manicoma Highway. The president talked about the Arab Development Bank coming in, the World Bank, the African Development Bank. And the president also talked about our international image, which the CDC succeeded in shattering over the 6 years they were there. How we've rebuilt the image, we've regained international credibility and everything. So
thanks so kindly. Your time is out. Let's go to Jacob to give us his general overview in the next 3 minutes of the president's annual message.
What is the state of the nation, for example, is the question the president tried to tackle and answered yesterday. And for me, listening to the speech very patiently yesterday, I was wondering at a certain point in time what country President Joseph Boakai was actually talking about, because I could not match the country called Liberia right now with his absolutely sexy description of what is happening. It's far from the truth. There's a massive gulf between what the president espoused yesterday and what the state of the nation is. And I think the president's speech writer and his cabinet members did him a great injustice, because nearly about everything that was said yesterday was out of touch with what is happening in the country right now. Okay, I'll highlight a few things quickly, since we don't have a lot of time, and we'll have more time to go into the nitty-gritty of matters as we move along. For example, the president talked about GDP growth. First of all, the president's ministers of finance, and I think the president needs some time to be able to challenge his people when they come see him and they talk about very sexy, lofty economic numbers. An economy growing by 5% doesn't necessarily mean transformation, because we know, even from the literature in common sense, growth does not equal jobs, because there is something called jobless growth. So you can have sexy economic number, macroeconomic numbers, but if you bring matters down to earth and go along the community and see the state of people and the living standards of people, like Liberia is one of the poorest countries in the world today. Life expectancy is not one of the great. We can pull some of the numbers up. Infant mortality rates with children under 5, stunting rate extremely high. If you look at the World Hunger Index, just showing that 2 out of every 5 Liberians are completely food insecure. So this is a terrible state where if you go into the business sector, Liberians are not able to expand their business opportunity because access to credit is extremely prohibitive. We have one of the highest, we have one of the lowest figure today, GDP as a share of credit that go to the private sector. So businesses are not expanding. Businesses are struggling under the weight of poor economic management. So technically speaking, I think the current Liberian economy is experiencing a massive heart attack. If you really look at private sector, business growth, jobs for Liberians, it is a very, very terrible situation. And I think the president has to get extremely serious radically serious in terms of how we deal with some of the problems. And that where the CMC comes in, there where Musa Blazer comes in. We have a private sector solution to Liberia's problem, and we'll have some time to go into that.
Thanks so kindly. Yes, when we come back to you, those are things that you can talk about in your answer. So let me play you this to kick it off running, since everybody mentions issues of the economy. Let's see what the president said about that.
2024 economy. As of 2024, the economy showed resilience with steady growth, declining inflation, stronger reserve, and renewed momentum across key sectors. This progress continued in 2025 with macroeconomic stability and private sector growth, strengthening our commitment to the Liberian people. We are proud to announce that the economy grew by 5.1% in 2025. This exceeds both the 4.6% forecast and the 4.0% growth recorded in 2024.
Okay, Mo, let's start that one with you. How did that come about? There is a whole lot of dispute around what the figure is in terms of 5.1% growth.
So, Julius,
in 2025,
there's absolutely no dispute around it. Even when Jacob was speaking, what we like to do in Liberia normally, and everyone is guilty of it, is to cherry pick. A report that does not favor you, you trash it, and you come to the local. The one that favors you, you take it. So Jacob Jada was speaking. He said the economy growing by 5.1%. He's not disputing, he's agreeing, because those are figures from the IMF, which they supply to the government of Liberia. I even sent you one of the documents this morning. So he's not disputing that. But he, in the same sentence, which shows the height of hypocrisy of these people, he will go on to cite other international reports that say Liberia is one of the hungriest countries in the world. He's disputing, he's not agreeing. Even though the IMF says it, he's not agreeing to it. He said, let's go to the market people and ask them. But in another one, he's agreeing to it. The president talked about the growth of the economy. It's not disputed. None of them can dispute that. The facts are there. The records are there. The president talked about the international reserve. Our international reserve grew beyond what IMF projected by $101 million. In 2024, it was around 475 million. In 2025, it grew by 101 million, taking it to 575 or 76 million. Nobody can dispute that. Those are not figures that you can sit and manufacture in your head. They are there. They are figures that are present. The economy growing. Yeah, you say it will not affect. But these are the people that we depend on. That is their statistics that we depend on to tell us what's happening, because they deal with us. We give them our stats, we give them everything, and they tell us based on their analysis, this is what you need to do. And so whatever the president said in there are reality. Now, if you want to argue that, oh, Liberia is one of, look, we measure hunger by things, and they all know the international standards, right? Extreme hunger, maybe that living on 25 cents. I'm not too sure about those figures, but I know $1 now. You tell me that if there is a single Liberian in this country who cannot eat above $1 value of food in a day's time, go show me one. Let's get in the street. Even people jumping from here to leave their houses and go to their business centers and come to Broad Street and other places. They buy food, they pay transportation. That is way above even $5 for many Liberians. People afford electricity. People afford food. People afford water. These are not hungriest people. These are people living modestly. These are people living at least, to the extent that there is dignity. So the figures the president gave, even our gross international reserve grew way beyond what IMF projected. Okay. The economy grew beyond what IMF projected. Let them dispute that with alternative figures. It's not enough to say, oh, it's a lie. What we learn in research, Julius, you went to a good school like every one of them, and Jacob knows it, Benedict knows it.
Yeah,
if you give me, if you give me and say, and I say the economy grew by 5.1%, and you want to dispute it, and I am citing to you the source, come with a counter figure to say you lie. It didn't grow by that. This is what we have, and this is the source.
Let us go to Benedict. Benedict, you can go ahead.
Can you repeat the question on the
economy?
On
the president essentially said the economy is doing well. It is resurgent. It is bouncing.
First thing, because Julius, if you get play that clip again, just from the beginning, right? I will tell you that the president was completely wrong.
Why?
The president started that portion by saying the economy grew steadily in 2024 before coming to 2025. No, the economy didn't grow steadily. The economy moderated because the president picked an economic growth of 4.6%, and in 2024 the growth rate is 4.0%. It cannot be a steady growth. So that's get off is not true. The second thing is, if the economy grew, look, there are two technical languages here. First thing, I will put it in a perspective and correct them. The president said the economy grew by 5.1%. In real economic calculation term, it means you take the 4% and multiply 5.1% of that 4%. That means the economy actually grew to 4.2%. But what the president meant to have said was that the economy grew to a move from 4 to 5.1. That's the correction I want a speech writer to take next time. They can't say the economy grew by 5.1. It means that 5.1 off. So that was wrong. That's one point. I haven't seen any source data. The IMF that you quoting, I quote IMF a lot, I quote Central Bank a lot. The IMF second ECL review, October 2022 report, I can read that, they put the GDP growth at 4.6%. The Central Bank third quarter report, end of September 2025, post GDP growth at 4.6%.
Is there no report after December?
I have not seen any report after December that GDP growth is at 5.1%. So he mentioned in research, the data that is available as of the time is the most recent data. It is the one you use. So, for example, we did the census. Our population is around 4.2 million. When we are writing paper, we quote 4.2 million. But people can do projection. But the real data that we can find is 4.2 from the latest.
That is 5.2.
5.2, right? So, except there is an administrative document, people stay cleaning all their reports with them. I cannot quote that because it could change. So if the MD tells us that the IMF report, quote that report, we find it, well, I agree with the president because I cannot dispute what latest Central Bank and the IMF will agree on together. But as it is, it's a deception. The economy is not growing at 5.1%.
Before I move to Jacob Moore, do you have any recent report? Is it published or is it something shared with the government on the...
So, Julius, I shared with you this morning, and if you open that report, you see clearly labeled in the footnote International Monetary Fund. So most time, before the reports are published, they are shared with the government. And so these reports are shared with the government, and they are the final set of report. And you will see there the aspect of the economy where the report is clear that the economy did well. It grew to 5.1%.
Do you also agree with him that the language should have been told and not by 5.1%?
No,
it sounds logical to me, though, but I just don't know if
the economy grew. Okay, so it grew from 4.6 to 5.1%.
That's the right English.
So it's not the point for me, right? Because I heard the economy grew to 5.1%, and even if you read the report, right, Julius, if you read the report, this is how it is clearly stated in the report. Growth remains resilient. Under A, they say recent economic development and program performance. Growth remains resilient. Real GDP growth is estimated to have accelerated to 5.1% in 2025 up from 4.0% in 2024.
Is that the Memorandum of Economic and Financial Policies?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Mo shared this with me. I don't know if it is published yet.
I have said, Julius, I have said, if that report is not published, it's an internal document. The fact that it's an internal document, anything can change in it. If the central bank posts that report, I have no objection. If the IMF posts that report, I have no objection. But let me tell you, gentlemen, knowledge is not one-sided. You cannot have the president to publish a data that the whole world says and go find online. They cannot find that information, especially macro indicators. If you talk about agriculture project in Kangulotan, the world will not be looking for that one because the Kangulotan people will say it. But if you talk about GDP growth, inflation, the world will have to see it.
Okay. Before we come back to Jacob, let's hear you.
I actually want to nudge the discussion in the radical direction. I want to push it forward a little bit from technical squabbles on number here and there. Generally speaking, 5.2%, 5.1% economic growth tend to be the natural speed limit of the economy in most developing or underdeveloped countries. So not a bad number, actually, factually speaking, right? But if you push it forward, the question we ask is, what is the nature and the structure of the growth? Is the question we ask. So we don't just want GDP growth number for the sake of it.
Mining, agriculture, that's what the president said.
Exactly. So if you look at the factors, the engine that's driving this growth,
the sources,
then you say it is extractive industry propelling that growth, then that is not a growth to celebrate. Why? Because extractive industry is extractive in nature. So be mountain, the mining companies go there, Yekepa and all of that, and they extract the natural resources, take it from the ground, pull it from the ground, rip the ground apart, take the gold, pull it on the ship, pull it on the aircraft, flies it to Turkey, flies it to New York, wherever it is. That is a primitive extraction. So because it's only happening on that level, that growth, and then growth that kind of activity produces becomes either jobless growth or becomes uninclusive growth. The proceeds for that kind of growth is not going to bring more Liberians into prosperity. That's the point I'm making. So the man water, the man flomo, the ordinary people across the country are not going to see, are not benefiting from that prosperity. That prosperity is enjoyed by the few Monrovia elite, Ali and the few people in the party who grow big bellies from the grease and the benefit from the extractive industry. So that's why you have a huge disconnect. So I'm coming.
Let me come
trying to break this thing down. That's why you see. You allow me to make this point. That's why you see you can have beautiful growth numbers on the top, but then when you go down the West Point, Claratown, the villages, people say the country is high and we are miserable, we're suffering. They say, how come? Beautiful growth number, but we're suffering. It's a mismatch. Yes, because the growth is not, that growth is accelerated by extraction.
How could
if this was growth accelerated by services, expansion in domestic production, factories, local production, factories, agriculture, for example, producing food, and then, for example, building businesses, then we can now feel the impact of the growth. But as it stands now, Liberians are not benefiting from the growth because the growth is extractive in nature. You leaving me now?
Let me come to him on that point. What do you say to Jacob on that point? That kind of growth is uninclusive.
Yes.
It really doesn't trigger down as it should.
So one of the few things that I will say to Jacob is that, one, he didn't read the president's annual message, even because he didn't have the time to listen. I guess he was celebrating life somewhere. And so he didn't have the time to listen.
What's your evidence that he listened?
No, I'll stay confident.
Give me a chance. Because one of the things the president said that fueled the growth, the service industry, agriculture, which everybody talks about, that agriculture should be one of the main bedrocks of our economy. That's why the economy, when you just follow the extractive industry, the growth of the economy has been stagnated to between 3 point something.
Well, you understand my point.
Hold on, Mo. agriculture could also include plantation agriculture, like
Absolutely.
rubber.
And
Which is 50% of that.
Yes.
it's
Which is extraction.
No, just wait. I don't want to ask you a question. Yeah, all of you panelists. So, do you also factor that in?
So the agriculture range in several things. The agriculture, we're talking about the producer, right? Like the rubber, the cocoa, the coffee, the rice production, cassava production, which is putting more farmers to work. But the president also mentioned another part of it that is growing the economy, another part of the agriculture that is growing the economy, which they are all neglecting to talk about, the fishery industry. The fishery industry is growing astronomically and putting more and more Liberians to work, independently to work, that they know their income is stable, because what we are doing is creating the market for their
Fishery is still extractive. You giving licenses to Indians?
Hold on. I'll come back to you. Mo, you can go ahead, please. Gentlemen, let us keep it simple.
I'll keep quiet.
Yeah, let's allow Mo.
Come on, Mo Ali.
So before growth was just on diamond, iron ore, and gold. And we all say, oh, you know that the extractive industry and these things are not replenishable, so we need to diversify the economy. Let's leave that iron ore, diamond thing small, rubber. Let's expand the agriculture sector. We say, okay, we will not expand the agriculture sector. We will now expand the agriculture sector beyond cocoa, beyond coffee, beyond rubber. We will venture into the fishery industry. We expanding that, and they say, oh, that one that's still extractive. Okay, we are now beginning to expand the tourism industry, as evident by the creation of the tourism board, the tourism authority, which is beginning to create jobs as well. That is the reason why roads to areas that attract tourism, like Cape Mount, Rabosport. You've been to my very beautiful Rabosport. You know what I'm talking about. Cestus. We're now creating road there. We are ensuring to create road to Sinos, so that people can go and enjoy nature. These are the things that we are talking about.
Okay.
That is creating the expansion in the economy.
Jacob, I will start this one with you. One of the.
But they've gone twice.
No.
Two are all
No, I'm coming. When you spoke, the man spoke. The man spoke.
Then Mo has spoken.
No, Mo was responding to him. So
Okay,
let me move to let me move to the next question. Let me move to the next question. Yeah. Now, one of the issues that you economists or people in policy areas always speak about is the trickle-down effect of economic growth, right?
Yes.
And one of those things, the Canadian Prime Minister said, no matter how you talk about how a country is doing well, someone has to feel it in the prices of their groceries. Yes. Let's listen to what the president said about this and what could be your counter argument, because if that is an indicator, then things should be moving better.
Mr. Speaker, the honorable members of the legislature, despite ongoing global supply pressure, our actions have helped lower the cost of essential goods. Prices have eased for rice, flour, and fuel, relief that families can feel in their daily lives. For instance,
let me go back there so all of you hear.
Fuel, relief. Prices have eased for rice, flour, and fuel, relief that families can feel in their daily lives. For instance, 25 kilogram bag of Indian parboiled rice now retails at $14.50. And flowers are dropped from 35 to 35 US dollars per 100-pound bag. Fuel has stabilized at $4 per gallon, helping to reduce transport costs. We strengthen supply and quality by completing the...
Well, if you've made that argument before, then bingo. Things are moving better.
Okay, so things are moving better. Now you say petroleum price coming down to what? $4
$4.02.
Yeah, something like yeah. On the pump, so yeah, 4.02 is the price for gasoline today. So what's the question?
If your argument is it has to trigger down in the lives of the people, this is one of the triggers that prices are reducing. So the purchasing power, the purchasing capacity of the people in the country is affected in that prices have come down.
No. So let's talk about let's do on a case-by-case basis. For example, the collapse or the so-called reduction in the price of petroleum, price of imported rice. Those are artificial policy fixes, right? For example, the government of Liberia goes and say we waive tariff so that we can keep the price of rice down, or we make some policy intervention to bring the price down. That is like adding yeast to the flour so that it expands. That's an artificial manipulation of the economy. That's not what we're talking about. Akamio, that's not what we're talking about when we talk about transformation in the economy, for example. Now, we're talking about things like the right, for example, for example, one critical area I'll point to, if we start to see that in Liberia under the government, then that one of the clear-cut registration you will see in terms of economic transformation. One, the share of credit, the share of GDP that goes to businesses, enterprises as credit is one clear indication.
That was not my question.
But I just answered your question, and I just moved on. I told you that those fixes that you see are not things to celebrate.
No, but no. Jacob. That was the reality of 2025. The president was reporting on 2025, and he's saying this was the reality in 2025, that prices dropped to this level. Yeah. Now, if that is true, then there was some positive impact on the people in 2025. Is it true?
No, I come in now. What I'm telling you here is that prices, the price of gasoline or petroleum dropping, mostly if you look at it, is due to exogenous factor, right? It's due to what's happening on global market level.
But it has positive impact.
We did not vote. Let me be direct here. We did not vote for Joseph Boakai. The Liberian people did not vote for Joseph Boakai. We did not vote for Joseph Boakai so that he can come and start tinkering over the surface here and making play. We voted for Joseph Boakai to change the future of this country and to transform our lives. Not to do chicken scratching. Let's be clear. You allow me to end my point. Not for chicken scratching. So we want to hold him accountable, and we spend billions of we spend billions of dollars. We look at how much money the Liberian people has paid to the government to run this country over $2 billion. We pay him all that money and allow him to run our country to go up to be $18. That's not what we voted for president for. We voted for president to solve our structural issue, create jobs for us, and transform education and improve our living standard. As we speak now, the government, the Unity Party government, has failed miserably in the last 2 years to solve those problems.
Okay, Benedict, what do you say to that in terms of the prices?
So I will pick up from the last point where we were talking about where the growth comes from. I agree with him. You can have even 2-digit growth, but what matters is where that growth comes from. And one thing the government is doing, the Unity Party is very smart. When they have this kind of critical economic issue, they send a propagandist MD who just says anything to people about it and doesn't know exactly what are the implications of the numbers that the finance minister put into the report. If you look at the fishery center they mentioned, we're not bringing our fish stock on shore. We're not processing fish in the country. The ships, the fishing boats that we get lessons to, they take the fish and carry up to different places. In fact, our fishes are landing somewhere either in Senegal or in Ghana for processing. So when the president says in bulk that the economy is growing from agriculture, fishery is part of agriculture. But if you went specifically to the president, he said palm oil production and rubber production. Those are all extractive. Not significant number of Liberians are benefiting from that, other than the royalty that the government gets to hire private jet for the president, for example, to travel to Weah. Other than that, come to price, gasoline price. So what is the gasoline price? Have we not had gasoline price at $4 or $4.85 in this country before? In 2022, we had reduction of gasoline price. The problem is you must solve a major problem in the country. We're not solving the problem of gasoline because we don't have control over gasoline price. If right now where we are importing gasoline from, if there is a war there, if there is something happening, there is chaos there, automatically gasoline price will go up. What the president needs to do in this government is to create a situation where the disposable incomes of Liberians, or they have increase any or alternative income generation opportunity so it can commensurate with the current reality of inflation, because inflation will always go up, will always come down. So
yeah, but Benedict, this is about 2025, and any government would boast that we kept prices down. Whether international factors led to the prices
if you boast on
down,
that, it means you are boasting of what didn't happen. Didn't we have gasoline at $4 here before, $4.83 before? I can bring the president or CDC days. The economy is like a living being, Julius. Some days you get out, you are very well. You come to the office, maybe you inhale some kind of thing, and you get sick. That's how the economy is. Sometimes these things price will go up, sometimes it will drop. There will always be those kind of rising issues. What matters is what bubble you have built domestically to be able to address those issues. This government hasn't been able to do that.
Okay.
So you can have petroleum price. In fact, these things are what we call compensated demand. One thing depends on the other. So yeah, petroleum price is $4. I know $4.28. But what is happening to transportation costs?
$4.02 for gasoline.
Okay. What is happening to transportation costs? Because all those things are tied to each other. They both go by in the market. They put it, and the U.S. rate is like this. You have to increase it to this level. So yes, I can tell you for sure that if we're talking about economic growth right now in this country, it is coming from places where the common people are not benefiting.
Okay.
The prices on the market, they are composite, they're not holistic, and they are haphazard policy because it is not solving the problem of gasoline price because we're not producing gasoline. If you notice the price you're talking about, it is on gasoline, it is on rest. We are not producing rest. So what I expected the president to say, you know why? We have reduced our rest importation by 25%. Then you're talking about serious issue in the country.
Okay, I got your point. Let's go to Mo. Mo, yeah, you can talk about price reduction according to them, but those are band-aid solutions. You still have the sole on your foot. You just tying it with bandage. That's what they're saying. What do you say?
So, you know, they are talking and agreeing with the president, and I'm here very happy in my soul that, one, neither Jacob nor Benedict dispute the fact that prices are down for rice. None of them can dispute the fact that flour prices have reduced from above $40 to now $35. None of them can dispute the fact that fuel prices are down. And I hear my man saying, oh, but it went down before. Well, it went down before, yes. And it went up, and the Liberian people complain. Now it now come down. My man Jacob say the prices of petroleum products going up, that exogenous factor, no. That your big economy is they're not external factor, that internal factor that we work on. One of those internal factors is because of his political leader, Musa Birete, who was making or hoping 35 cents for storage on every gallon, extracting millions of dollars from Liberian people because he get one storage tank, he put gas inside. Then the Liberian people have to pay Musa Birete 35 cents for every storage he store, which, I mean, every gallon of gas he store. Which we say, no, Musa, this is extortion in its highest form. That a political leader also took it from there, reduce it to 5 cents. So he helped to reduce the prices of petroleum products.
No, you can go ahead.
My man Benedict say, oh, we catching fish, but we carrying our fish different place. They think when the baby is born, they start to lay down. Then the baby sits, the baby crawl, the baby walk, the child is growing. First, not many Liberians were in the fishery sector. Now we've made it attractive. We've created the conditions.
A day can. No, I'm the interviewer here. Please, don't stop interviewing.
Yeah.
When you're,
okay, let two interview me.
Whenever you are talking, Mo doesn't interrupt. So I beg, please do not interrupt. Good.
Let me know so interrupt me than the interviewer.
They can argue that they made fishery romantic and viable and everything else, that you are riding on what they set in motion.
You know, Julius, the CDC can say many things. They can say many things. You see, whenever we speak, people say, produce evidence. If they were doing it, nobody knew. They lack the capacity and the ability
No,
to
NAFA, we all knew that. So, NAFA was one of those places that you all praised, even in the opposition. You all say, yes, Julius, NAFA was doing well.
Julius, so what I'm saying is what happened in 2025.
Okay.
What happened in 2025 that the president reported on. We made the fishery sector so inducive that many Liberians are now producing. I mean, they are now going on the sea to catch fish because there are storage facilities for them. My man Benedict say, "Oh, we're not producing petroleum." How many countries producing petroleum? Of course, petroleum will always import, but the factors that made our petroleum products prices high are the factors that you were incapable of tackling. Those are the factors that we tackle. For example, we tackle the factor that is associated with the political leaders of Jacob Jala. So the thing is, and he talked about transportation. Let's look at it. When we say the economy is getting better, it affects transportation. Under the CDC administration, people used to pay $20,000 to $25,000 from Monrovia to Zwedru. Between $20,000 to $30,000 from Monrovia to Maryland. Right now, from Monrovia to Zwedru, you pay $5,000. That is a saving of at least 15,000 Liberian dollars. That is a saving from here to Maryland of at least they pay 8,000 now from here to Maryland. You are saving at least $20,000 or between $15,000 to $20,000. What does that do? The economists like Benedict and others will say it increases purchasing power. You cannot dispute that. You cannot dispute that. The time people used to take to stay to wait for taxis, for cars, for keke, they're no longer taking that time because time itself is a factor of money. Now you go that cars, even at rush hour, cars will be parking and waiting for people so that you do not kill that time. You do not spend more time. You use that time productively. People used to cut work 3 o'clock just because they don't want to get caught looking for car. Now we have buses that are commuting people. We all are enjoying them. So people do not use productive time to leave work to go. That is growing the economy. That is increasing purchasing power, gentlemen. It's as simple as ABC.
Yes, you wanted to say something to that. Before
that's
move on to the next
that's why I said when we come to this forum, we should come with fights. If people don't have it, they can stay home. The scenario with Musa Bilede, I'm not part of CMC. But we're listening to even Senator Nukwe. The 35 cents they took from the storage charge, the MD can call and verify that. It didn't affect the price of gasoline. They only reduced it from the storage. It was a bucketing under what they call storage fees. They redistributed, they reappropriated it and took some for what they call roll form of for the yellow machine purchase. They took some of the money from there for yellow machine purchase. So they got reappropriated that money. That's the correction I wanted you to make. They didn't reduce to say, okay, because you are paying 35 cents, it affected the price of gasoline on the market. We are reducing it to 5 cents and you're not paying anymore. No. They're saying we're not giving you that money. We'll take that money and reassign it somewhere else.
One quick information. The IMF has just issued a release today. Is on social media.
We're talking about what the president said yesterday.
No,
no.
On the 5.1.
The president spoke yesterday. There wasn't anything on it yesterday.
They were asking for the publishing. So the IMF are not published. I will tell you the link.
So the president was quoting in the future.
That is the absolute policy laziness of most Liberian finance ministers for the last 20 years.
What?
Oh, including your mentor?
I come in now. My man, give me a chance.
I give you a chance.
Get most. And I don't want to get engaged into that thing here. The overfixation, right, with macroeconomic numbers, macroeconomic stability, 5%, all that kinds of
MACRO.
Yes. It is just, I mean, it is sickening. And somehow we at least a little bit well traveled. Look, when you go to countries like Rwanda, you go to countries like Ghana, you go to emerging economies, for example, right? You barely have any discussion about what macroeconomic stability and all of that is because of a very weak policy environment. And let's be clear here. the macroeconomic policy environment of this country at least has been restored. The balance of the macroeconomy has been restored largely from the policy perspective, right? So I don't expect, at least for the last 20 years, Madam Sirleaf did a lot of work trying to stabilize the macro environment. George Weah did a lot of work in trying to stabilize the macro environment. We want the current Minister of Finance, Joseph Boakai, not to be telling you about macro policy fixes. We want to see root and branch transformation. We want to see expansion in the credit environment so that more and more people can have access to cheap credit. We want to see transformation in agriculture where you have mechanization. More and more Liberians can now grow through and we can expand value chain. We want to see fixing electricity. LEC today, 9 months. LEC today is currently on its knees. We do not have sustainable power generation. We want these structural issues to be tackled and addressed. For you to have more Ali, Gafuan, Joseph Boakai to still be coming after 20 years. We've rectified all these macro fixes. We don't all of that. To still be telling me about macroeconomic policy, PFL regulation is absolute profound degree of laziness. And I think the Liberian people are now tired of that recitation and all of these things. We want to see real things. We want to see jobs, good quality jobs. We're not talking about you gave me a job for 6 weeks after that and collapse into poverty. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about quality long-term jobs that will improve people's living standard and that will make people prosperous. If you're not able to do that and you can't be flashing 5.2%, nobody getting overly excited about that, then you don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. One inquiry quickly. So, can we all agree that we should, moving forward in any debate, jet table, anything, any report that comes from IMF and other international
I'm not saying we should table the number.
I'm making a suggestion.
No, don't deceive. I'm making
a suggestion.
No, don't deceive us here. Well, you have not provided any IMF or World Bank report that supports.
It's just been published.
Well, you see there. So the president yesterday. So the president was quoting futuristic data.
No, but because
you did a master degree. You did a master degree and did a thesis. You are not quoting data in the future. You quote data that have passed. So the president was quoting data that will going to be published.
Can I counter him?
Yeah, sure.
Can I counter him? So Benedict, no, we're not moving the discussion.
We can't agree with you that.
No, Benedict
sat here and said that these international organizations, World Bank, IMF, they can normally discuss with the finance ministry internally before publishing. And he said it's possible that what they will discuss, they can change within the intermediary before publication. Was that not what he said when I talked about the report?
So what is
and you
point?
asked me if this was an internal something. I said, yeah, it was shared internally. But now it was shared internally and validated. That's why the president mentioned it. Now the IMF has published it. Then you say the president, okay, this president is a soothsayer. He predicted that the economy was going to grow 5.1.
Okay, gentlemen, we have to move to one of the most critical aspects of the president's speech, the one with jobs. Before we do that, let me read this quickly. It's just coming in published by the IMF. It's a breaking news. An International Monetary Fund team led by Deg Hien Kim visited Monrovia from January 7 to 20 to conduct discussions on the third review of Liberia's extended credit facility arrangement. The ECF was approved by the IMF Executive Board September 25, 2024, with total assets of SDR 155 million, that's $210 million over a 40-month period. The mission also discussed a new climate focus program under the resilience, blah, 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 with total assets of 193.8 million SDR, that's $265 million for the period through in 2027. Consideration by the IMF board is tentatively scheduled for early March 2026. At the conclusion of the discussion, Mr. Kim issued the following statement. IMF staff and Liberia authorities have reached a staff-level agreement on the economic and financial policies needed to complete the third review of the ECF supported program. A staff-level agreement was also reached on the request for an arrangement under the Resilience and Sustainability Facility, which aims to help Liberia address its long-term vulnerabilities to climate-related shocks and strengthen its pandemic preparedness. Liberia's economic and financial reforms continue to progress, supported by favorable macroeconomic outcomes. Real GDP growth is estimated at 5.1% in 2025, up from 4.0% in 2024, driven by strong mining activity and moderate expansion in the agriculture and services sectors.
Services.
But moderate.
You know, Julius, I agree with you, right? Before, it wasn't even moderate.
No.
Now, I said the baby is born, the baby is
starting to walk.
Is starting to walk.
Okay, gentlemen.
So we're getting there, Jacob. That 2 years? We are getting there. We're going there.
Let us make progress on.
So what you want to say about that? You see, we said this, right?
No. This is the biggest elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Jobs. Because it is about people's disposable income. Yeah. What they earn, what they take home, and all of that. So
we'll put the government to test on that. Let's see.
Let's go to job creation. We have that clip here. Let's hear what the president had to say about that.
Job creation remains the top priority for my administration. Our job creation strategy has focused on addressing the binding and structural constraints to growth, including investment in roads, energy. In this connection, we have created more than 70,000 short and medium-term jobs across the infrastructure, agriculture, social protection, and small businesses, among other sectors. Going forward, the Youth Entrepreneurship and Investment Bank project launched in 2025 will support 30,000 youth-led businesses, creating over 120,000 direct and indirect jobs for the youth.
That's President Joseph Boakai. More recently, the Vice President talked about one of the challenges of the government being job creation. A whole lot of officials have also referenced that. In the State of the Nation Address 2025, the President pops up. We've never heard about these huge numbers in terms of job creation. More than 70,000. Tell us about this.
So, Julius, it's true. We all are concerned about job creation. And it is job creation in the definition of a Liberian. That and in the not only Liberian, but as per the definition of long-term job is a problem, which the president outlined that we will focus on to do. But when you listen to the statement was clear. It says more than 70,000 jobs. It didn't say long-term job. The president qualified it short-term and medium-term jobs. Short-term and medium-term job. And he stated...
What would be the description of the short-term jobs?
Okay, so short-term job could be 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Okay. Medium-term job could be, 4 months. Medium-term job could be like if I have a contract with an NGO. Mm-hmm. Maybe I have a 1 year contract, a 2 year contract. Those are medium-term job. The long-term job will be, like, for example, if I ask to employ you, ask you employ you the year for this year, BMC, or you get a civil service job or something.
So could we also say what Maswell Grisby was running? Or was it some some short-term job stuff?
Precisely,
that
because
sanitation program.
Yes, precisely. And those are things that people don't take into consideration. When you read the statement, the president said we connected 63,000 homes, electricity, right? Those connections were done by people who got short-term job. Water and sewer, for example, we connected 4,000 plus homes. 4,000 plus homes. They're not long-term job. We provided short-term job. 3 months, 1 year.
Where is the data from Labor or Lisgis? Because it is...
Julius, we've been publishing the data.
It has been more than 24 hours.
No. We've been publishing the data, and I have it right here. I can send it to you. They realize, I can send it to you.
No, but I just want era that World Bank running. That one is not government data. It's
Julius, besides that one, they realize it, and this stuff, the World Bank stuff, it says to in helping to achieve the arrest agenda.
I agree. Why is it possible that World Bank is able to track the short to?
But you are not saying they realize something. They realize is also a government stuff.
Yeah, but it is supported by World Bank, and so the data is readily available, right? what about the ones from water and sewer?
But I just told you.
The ones from public work. Where is the data?
The data are there, and that's why the people have the data.
Who?
Today, if you listen to the Minister of Information, he talked about these job creation.
I mean, can
holistically.
Now, one of them send me
Julius, for example, again, let's come here. We're talking about data, right?
Yeah.
For long-term jobs, for example, from the industries, I'll tell you, Meta B. Martin, for example, in 2025, created 1,904 jobs.
In 2025.
It's verifiable. That one there, B. Martin in TV. Your journalists, you can call them. Sethi Bredos created 813 jobs.
In 2025.
In 2025. Ashlaw Meta Liberia created 1,080 jobs. In 2020. And these are long-term sustainable jobs that we're talking about. Then Ashlaw Meta, they are contracting companies. There are things that they outsource to company. They created 1,297 jobs.
In 2025.
In 2025. Firestone created 505 jobs. So just across these companies in 2025, that's 5,599 jobs. 5,599. And these are long-term jobs. Now, if you say we are lying, bring alternative data.
No, we need. Hold on, sir.
This is from Ministry of Labor, for example.
Okay, but I'm talking about.
That's from Ministry of Labor.
So this one is total number of Liberian employees in the private sector between the periods 2023, 2024, and 2025.
You see 2025 at the end.
Yeah, I see total new jobs created during the period January to June 2025. 5,599. So this is. Is there no available data for the total 70,000 plus jobs from the Ministry of Labor?
There is. Now again, right?
Where is
the World Development Index has been tracking job in this country, job creation, short, medium term, long term job, since 2005.
Okay.
Since 2005, the data is there, and on the average, oh, you saw it? Yeah. You disagree with it?
No, but then okay, so it says. It says 2023, 75,288 jobs are created. 2022, 104,156. 2021, 76,872.
The 2025 bid.
No, in there, I'm saying 2025.
Maybe the printer left it off. What is there?
So you not brought CDC. It's that you are jetting about CDC. You can't bring something that helps CDC.
No, it starts from 2025.
Yeah,
no. What? From 2005. So Julius.
Wait. Show the thing.
So Julius. No.
I'm saying 2025 doesn't exist. I'm saying this is the document that Mo Ali brought, folks. So what is on it is from 2005 to 2023.
And the greatest job number is in what year?
It's in 2022. 104,000.
No, you know. So I was actually trying to print the whole stuff up.
So you brought something that helps CDC.
No, it doesn't matter. What I'm trying to tell you. What I'm trying to.
Okay. Wait, let me get to the picture so you can send me your own too. Send me the 2024 and 2025.
Is that there?
No, it's there.
Eba, stop arguing. Stop arguing here. So you read it back and forth.
They don't have 2024, 2025.
They do. I downloaded it to print on two different sheets.
And so more finally, so that I can go to them on the job question.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible for the Ministry of Labor or LISGIS to just provide for us the comprehensive data? Because not just saying this company did
when you go to LISGIS website, whenever they do their labor survey, which we all can have problem with, LISGIS will tell you unemployment rate in Liberia by the labor standard is between 3 to 4%, which many of us can have issue with. In fact, the first labor survey they did during Madam Selig era,
it was a big thing,
and they publish it, and they say
vulnerable employment.
They have also they define employment. The Ministry of Labor. The reason why you don't really want to run with these statistics because International Labor Organization define employment as anything you do per day that earns you $1 or $1.25. That's employment. That's employment. So, for example, if I get up in the morning, like all of those who ride motorbikes, they are gainfully employed. But when you ask them, are you employed? They tell you no. Those who own keke, they are riding. They are gainfully employed. The people who sit on the street to shine shoes, they are employed. The people who go to low car, per international labor standard, they are employed. So is that the kind Is that the kind of employment we are talking about? No, that's not what we're talking about. What the president talked about is genuinely short-term job where people get up in the morning, they go to work, and it creates opportunity for them to get earning on a monthly basis, 2-3 months up to a year.
Good. Let's go to Benedict on this. We spent a whole lot of time.
They may have more time, or so you want to give them a same time.
Yeah, no. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same time, but you can go ahead.
So here is the point. When we do these discussions are coming out of a baseline. And that baseline is the promises that the Unity Party made to they're not making the comparison, they're not making the judgment in abstract or in vacuum. Ali and the rest of the Unity Party folks told the Liberian people, Georgia was incapable. That's the reason why companies were not coming. When they win election, they will bring more companies like Lamco days for people to get jobs. They will bring in more NGOs like Madam Sally days for more jobs to come. Now they have won. All the NGOs have left the country. The companies are not coming. The only one company here that Asla Meta. So the people not finding the job. When you tell them that we created a job, the people are like, no, that's not the job we're talking about. So the job actually the people are talking about, that the NGO job, that the company jobs. But here is the point. When Moore talks about the created short-term job, there will always be these kind of short-term jobs. But when you look at job classification, you got what we call decent jobs. You got vulnerable jobs. When you got somebody riding keke, wherein policeman get vest today and run behind him, he go fall down the keke spot, he not able to face it, he doesn't have job again. When you got women selling how they call it, matche bar or selling goods in wheelbarrow to red light, yeah, you say they got job. That one more Ali say they have created job for those people because they got goods in wheelbarrow selling. But tomorrow police run behind them, they don't have goods again. People selling. Honor Minister of Finance, they've Chinese shoes. More Ali saying that the job they have created because a short-term job. Minister of Finance get ready, say nobody should say here again. That's not job. One way we must admit as a country, but the people think that they know all, but we can admit that as a country we have not been able to establish a data mechanism where we can track jobs.
Okay.
But because they want to lie, they say they created a job. The first labor survey that was done around 2005 was done at Labor Ministry. The documents were still left there in cartons. They could not complete it when we took over. So the truth is there is no record system of tabulating jobs in the country. The Union Party is good at presenting lies to be true. So they will not want to admit. So that number is a false number. That number, not get false, but it's a job, for example, it's a vulnerable jobs. For example, you go on Lofa Road, right? The Chinese company is facing the road there. And then they hire my sister to stay on the road and be waving gold. They got two colors of how they call it? Red and the green. Listen to me. That lady is standing on the road. They said she got a job. The Chinese men come and say, no, the way you are waving yesterday, you're not correct. Go sit down home. Vulnerable jobs. So that is not job for the people. If you want to really more, let me show you one example that you people can capitalize on to be able to find jobs and know that you're creating jobs. There is something in the budget you call income, tax, and profit. When you're looking at the revenue sources, when you go to that revenue source, there is a probability that when job is created, because any job that is created that is formally going to affect the life of people, they begin to pay taxes. So when you go and see the income tax there, then you compare it with business, export, and other things. If they can be able to filter that, you can get an indication that job is being created in the economy.
Thank you,
but I went to that train, I don't see job being created. What I see happening there is that I saw almost 300 million, 460 million worth of gold and diamond leaving the country. That amount shows that the people were paying royalty and they have profit. So it is only profit on those extracted industry that is increasing that portfolio.
Okay.
It is not job creation.
Yeah, you said inquiry. He said
So the only inquiry is, what did the president say in his message? Does he say long-term sustainable job or short and medium-term job? What he's talking about, can that be classified as part of short and medium-term job? Like he talk about, I come in, I think you through the moderator, like they place in the role, they employ people, they give them contract for the duration, for the time they're facing the role. Can that be classified as a short-term job, medium-term job, or not?
So in the first place, you didn't define what is short-term, medium-term. But what I can say to you...
I define it.
Okay, listen to me now. What I can say here to you is, I lay the basis on the basis of which the Liberian people, they come up with our working in the poo-poo.
Okay,
the basis of which...
what his argument is that there is a baseline, there is an understanding of what your platform was, what you wanted to do. It is why you will be judged by... and not the regular things.
Not the regular thing, because there will always be. I come in. You ask a question.
Julius.
There will always be short-term job. For example, Julius, I go to Lofa.
Do we dispute the 70,000 short and medium-term job? Because that's what in the statement.
No,
and
we
are discussing the statement.
We're disputing. No,
yeah. I'm coming to you, Jacob.
We are saying, for example, I go to Lofa and say, you know what?
So let us be clear, Benedict. Do you dispute the 70,000?
Where is the source?
Can it be true or not?
No, it doesn't even exist because there is no source. I can't verify it. So I cannot even think that they created that job. But I'm saying to them that if they created short-term job, that was not the promise. The reason the Liberian people in the majority are even frowning at that number is they expected that NGO were going to be here, company will be floating around, because this is why you told the Liberian people.
Okay, good. Let's go to Jacob on this point.
Yes. So 70,000, somebody shoehorned that number in the president's speech. Where are the evidence? If I were in that circle there, I will resist the temptation of including such a very fuzzy number in the president's speech, because we have to be able to show verifiable evidence to show 70,000, 100,000, all of that. Otherwise, you pluck in some kind of number from the thin air, and we can verify that. What I would have done, for example, the president probably should have announced the commencement of a job registration or job enumeration program, for example. Ministry of Labor, create a department of labor statistics or something like that, and start to go across sectors, across the country, and begin to record the amount of jobs that we have, and then you have a baseline. Even if it's just 100,000 Liberians, don't be afraid of that number. If you don't want to get political and you don't want to get involved in propaganda game, right? Be factual. Go and collect the numbers. And then we have a baseline of the country and say, okay, there's the amount of Liberians that are in different categories of job across different sectors, this percentage of female, this percentage of male, and then the amount of foreign workers in the economy. You need to do that work first and then draw lines under that data and say, this is our baseline. Then every time we're moving forward, we update it on a quarterly basis. That has not happened. I'll make this last point because I know we want to change gear. But again, coming back to Benedict's point, a similar point here. When we are putting the Unity Party to the sword in this discussion, we're not putting them there so that they start repeating what have been doing in this country for 20 years. And that's the reason why, for me, I don't celebrate the fact that LEC connecting more and more people. Even if you have an interim government here, more and more people will be connected on the LEC grade. Right? Chancellor Bureau, people always connect, Unity Party connected more early, CDC connected, more people will be connected. 9 months now, we had electricity. But now, you see now what we're having outages left, right, and center. So we didn't bring Unity Party only because they will connect more and more people, because more and more people will be connected by default. We brought the Unity Party to power. Joseph Boakai said he wants power because he wants to solve the structural issue. The issue that everybody fumble and fail on, he said he will solve it. Has he solved those problems? No.
Okay, gentlemen, we have to go to the lines. No, I will come to you. Well, I'll give you 1 minute, 30 seconds each. What is the way forward? What could be your advice to the government on these economic matters? What do they need to do? We are all one people. We are all one country.
We are all one people. Let me say this here. I'll say the pop. I'm on the radio. Joseph Boakai needs a fundamental change of direction. His party and his people are extremists. They're dividing this country, and they're painting people black and white and try to keep people, ostracize people and target political opponents, manufacturing fake political opponents. That is their problem. And some of them are insecure because they think that people like Musa Belete, people like Alexander Cummings, people like maybe Samuel Tuer, other Liberians, credible Liberians with expertise or understanding to help advance their country, they elbow them one side because of their insecurity and the harassing Belete level and Senator Moali talk about 35 cents something. All that is, I don't want to go into Belete business because that's his business, his politics. I try not to go into that.
I like that.
Yeah, I want to stay on the political side because we want to keep the business away. But politically speaking, that is the Unity Party problem. They are insecure, they are jittery, they are scared because they try to keep certain political actors, but Boakai need to transcend that fear and say, look, guys, step one side. We need to call Liberians. Belete is an expert in private sector development in his whole life. He built companies, he built businesses, he created capital, he knows investment. Bring this man and say, look, this is our one country, can you contribute to the advancement? Cummings, for example, he's an astute businessman, he knows how to create jobs, he knows how to create business, call him on board. That's what Belete will do as President of the Republic of Liberia. He will bring all Liberians on board and contribute to the advancement of the country.
Benedict,
that's what we want to see.
Benedict. What's the way forward? 1 minute, 30
the
seconds.
most difficult question you are asking me to provide a way forward for the Unity Party. From day one, I have been providing a way forward. Number one, you know.
But then, should it be difficult again?
It's difficult because they were not here.
Okay.
It is a professional arrogance. Julius, the first thing the president needs to do, number one, he has to call for the overhaul of the arrest agenda. It doesn't make any logical sense. Like my colleague said, you know, their country cannot be governed by one ideas. That's why we have Mo Ali helping us with the PAPD. We have Debuzo. That's one of the biggest disappointments. Debuzo knows how we work with him to do the arrest agenda, or the PAPD. But now they are alienating everybody. One of the things, if they will have to succeed in anything, you have to revise the logic of the arrest agenda. Number two, the president shouldn't have, if there is a way to withdraw the 2026 budget. This is the most regrettable budget we have in our country history. And let me tell you why. You can disagree. Julius, do you know that before the president went to the SONA, right? Minister Gafon gets signed $30 million financing agreement with the Arab Bank. Before then, he signed another $12 million. So almost around $50 million. Imagine Aslam Meta will get on one time $200 million. What if the minister will get taken, but he wants a man Mo Ali to get $6 million from that money? He's not going to solve any problem. We have taken $50 million from that money, pull it on Lofa Road. Take $15 million from that money, pull it from Campley to Sacrepe, that is where the money coming from. So that money was not utilized properly. If this government wants to do anything concrete, they can recall the budget. But it's not possible because they've already aligned the budget to the interests of lawmakers, so they're not going to change that. The way forward for them is they have to see all Liberians that have skills and capability to move this country. Look, Julius, I can work with the government until the end. I will still find fault. So don't be afraid. Okay. Use the people until you get to the point of election. We will not finish development till Jesus Christ come.
Okay. Okay, Mo, what do you think?
Harassing everybody, you're not helping your cause.
Okay, Mo, what do you say? What's the way forward?
I hope you're finished. Okay, so on the LEC thing quickly, yesterday I listened to the president very keenly and he said it will take another 18 months for us to come to a stable LEC. There's one thing that Jacob said I agree with. We should have a real labor data in this country. And I agree with you, Jacob. And I think we have suggested that to the Ministry of Labor and they're working on it. Now, Benedict, the Lofa Road, we don't need to take 50 million from the Meta money to put there because the Lofa Road, we've already sourced financing from it and you'll be eba.
Let him try. Let him try. We got to take few calls. Let him try. Boy, just go ahead.
And so we already have that finance, so we don't need to so we're taking that money and put it to other tangible projects. You are hurting. The CDC is hurting. Jacob is hurting. The CMC is hurting because they never, in their widest imagination, in their dreams, thought that the budget under the Joseph Boakai government will reach 1 billion. We reach the budget there, so Benedict is so angry. He said, "Oh, withdraw that budget." We're not withdrawing it. We implement that budget. As a matter of fact, the finance minister has announced that there will be supplementary budget, which means that we will earn more than what the budget is. So we will supplement the budget.
Thanks. Let's go to the lines. 777-700-995, 995. The numbers to call. Next up will be Babolu County Senator Amara Mohammed Kone, right here on the OK Conversation. This person says we invited Benedict Koluba to attend the consultation for the development of the AAID in Lofa, but then he was in Lofa. He refused to show up, but he will deny when you ask him. Were you ever invited?
No, who said that? I can't speak to anonymous name. Let the person.
Yeah, but I know what that person real name here, so no, I can
call the person name there.
No, what I'm saying, I can't say. The name is Rice Caesar. Do you know that? I don't know.
I know Caesar Mason very well.
Is it true? He said they invited you, but you didn't.
You know, we are being paid, reciprocated our benevolence with wickedness.
No, that's
wait, no.
Yeah,
Caesar Mason to lie on me. I was never invited for AAD consultation. Okay. I don't want to say it because I didn't see him. I met the consultation team in Zozo. Ask the old man, Larry Yankwe. I spoke with Larry Yankwe. There are certain things because he's provoking me, I don't want to say. Some of the staff of the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, I will not name. I even invited them to stay to my place and provided food for them to cook. They refuse. They refuse because they have fear of their bosses. They don't want to be associated with me.
Or maybe you laugh.
Okay.
They didn't even come.
Okay, thanks so kindly. 777-700-995. Let's take a few calls. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah, Patrick. So,
yeah, you go ahead, Patrick.
I will start with the way forward first.
Mm-hmm.
President Boakai is making the same mistake President Weah made. Bring people on board with the experience and degrees is a good thing. Appointing somebody as a deputy minister or minister only because they graduated from Harvard with no experience is terrible. That's my way forward. And let me go to more. You see, Julius, I'm getting tired and just frustrated every day. Just yesterday, Mo and other brothers, June 7, saved the state protest. When George Weah was just 1 year sick, 5 months in office. When the supporters of George Weah were arguing that GDP was good, they were paying rolls, rest price was down, Mo and others were saying that even though Weah was doing all the things, but the people were still suffering. In fact, one of them, I will not call his name because I don't want to dignify him. During the June 7 protest, he said all the jobs President Weah was boasting of, they were people platoon jobs. They were short-term jobs. But today, Mo is the same man again that boasting of the short-term jobs. I mean, how we treating Liberia like this? When you are officer of government, it's bad. When you're in government, it's okay. You know, this is terrible. We got to stop.
Okay, thanks so kindly. This message, this person says, Benedict is right on the reassigning of the storage charges. Government took the money from private owners and gave it to herself. Ability was always the target in that scheme, someone in that sector. Okay, let's take a few more calls. Welcome, let's hear you. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, let's hear you.
Yeah, Julia, just thank you for the show. But I got a question for Mo Ali. My name is Ali Kane.
Mm-hmm.
Join you for the Somala drive.
Mm.
So my question to Brother Mo Ali is that in here from Grand County and yesterday in the President Sona Hall, he's saying that there will be two sport academics, one in Moserado and one in Bond County. Mo Ali, do you agree with what the President said yesterday?
I saw that Senator McGill posted that after he posted that Cape Mount needed something like that too. The company has said that they are going to build a similar thing in Cape Mount. So. Yeah,
so
that is the update for today.
Do he agree with what the President said yesterday in from my country?
Okay,
and
thanks so kindly.
It's a huge amount of food from there.
Okay, thanks so kindly. Let's go international. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yes, hello.
Hello, can you speak louder?
Yes, thank you, Julius.
No, you very low, Sylvester. I don't know why.
Can you hear me now?
Better.
Yeah, thank you, Julius. I think, you see,
sometimes if you basically outside government and want to engage or indulge into propaganda, it can be very easy sometimes. You see, Ali is basically struggling. He said even he printed out less some of the writing out.
Yeah, I know about that bad thing they print out. The printer brought CDC numbers.
You can see Ali very disoriented today.
No, man, I don't think so. I don't think he's disoriented.
No, seriously. Very disoriented that he's struggling to even shift blame on the printer basically. But Julius, let me quickly say this: in the absence of detailed, verifiable data, whatsoever the president says, trust me, we need to stop this. And that's one of the things I want to call on the guys to stop changing this old man to, because they're going to call. Yesterday when the old man left from that place, he almost like rubbing all his eyes, looked very tired because most of those fake a report they wrote out for the president to read to the Liberian people. They didn't just do injustice. It's been very insensitive to the woman.
Okay, now, thanks. So kindly, let's take orders because of time. Our next guest, I'm sure he's either around or should be here. Let's hear you quickly.
Thank you, Julius. How are you?
I'm fine.
So, the studio guest. Julius, my name is Alasco and I call you from Kakata. Julius, I know the guys have spoken about a lot of issues in the studio. But basically, I just want to ask Mo Ali this one question. Yesterday, the president said in his speech that over 500,000 school-going children benefited from government feeding. I come from my...
We didn't get to that point. That's 239,000. I know I've reached out to the Ministry of Education for data on that. It is something I'll talk about tomorrow, but we didn't get there, so...
Yeah, but Mo Ali being the government spokesperson right now, he may be in the know. So before you get that tomorrow, why can't we get asking if he knows so he can tell us?
Okay, thanks so kindly. I think our guest is here. Folks, sorry, I know your interest is high. I don't know, there are still more aspects. I could arrange another panel with different groups of people on the other aspects we didn't touch it. We want to touch on the economy and different aspects of it today. Mo has the questions to answer, so let's go to him.
Yeah, so let me first respond to Patrick. You see, Patrick, you say Mo and other, they protested, they did June 7. You see, Patrick, the CDC has attempted on 2 occasions to replicate the June 7 protests.
Let me just squeeze in the Deputy Information Minister for courtesy. Daniel Sano, just how many minutes I giving you? 1 minute, 30 seconds.
Thank you. I thought to say that Mo has did a very good job in studio, given the fact that.
But why you say?
And Jacob and Benedict, I don't know, for some reason, Benedict is so allergic to good news. So I hear them trying to kind of undermine the substantive nature of the information put out yesterday through the president's speech. Anybody who followed the Ministry of Information press briefing today will know that the minister laid out the details in the data as was contained in the president's speech. Now, if people come into the national conversation who try to doubt or question the source of that data, for example, part of the source of that data is ArcelorMittal.
No. You can't do that one, Daniel. There should be data from Labor Ministry that kind of detail the 70,000 plus jobs. That thing should be simple.
What they are simply doing is a fishing expedition.
Who done?
The data being released by the government is what the government approved.
No,
is what the government
but the government hasn't released any comprehensive data on the 70,000 jobs. Where is it?
Did you follow the Ministry of Information press briefing today?
Can you just send it to me, please? Send it. Can you send it to me?
So I will forward it to you.
Okay.
The point I want to make here is that if people thought that everything that happened in the country over the last 1 year was going to be contained in the president's speech, the president would have spoken for 73 hours.
So this is why you were supposed to release the data. Simple. Thanks so kindly.
So Julius, let me just conclude by saying we're not sure of the data.
Yeah, send it. You must send a journal. Okay, be laughing. Yeah, more. You can just answer the question, then we wrap up.
Yes, so I was saying on 2 occasions they tried to replicate June 7 and January 6. They could not because the conditions that existed, the hardship, they are not existing today. You know, Brother Kalasco, whatever the president said was information provided by the Ministry of Education. I haven't gone through it, that particular aspect, and so I will not give information that could haunt me tomorrow. But I can say to my brother from Cape Mount, Aliu, I personally engaged with B Mountain last night, and there are issues that we discussed which are private, I cannot disclose. But one thing I know is that B Mountain is saying that they are committed to the county. I too am concerned that they are operating in Cape Mount, taking our gold. And yeah, it's not a bad thing to bring the stadium to the sports academy to Monserrado to carry to Bong. They say the one that going to Bong is financed by their auxiliary there, the MMG Gold. I don't know the one for Monserrado, but Cape Mount should benefit. And I agree with Eric Martinez on that, and we should all put pressure on them. Okay. I discussed with them last night.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jacob, wrap up.
Yeah, sure.
30 seconds.
Thanks for the time. I will close by saying that the Mine Party, the CMC, Musa Hassan Bilete, we are offering something very creative. Now, listen, let's be clear here. You know, I'm someone, we don't have a lot of time, but as some of us have been very active politically in the country for a long time, you know, over 2 decades. We've seen the Liberian problem. We've seen Liberian presidents have come, fumble and fail to solve the real challenging problems of our time. And I've come to the conclusion, after years of study, years of investigation, that the only viable practical solution to the intractable problems that we face today in this country can only be derived from the tools and the mechanism of business. That's why we bring Musa Hassan Bilete to the fore, to use business solutions, to use his experience and skills in business to prosper our country and prosper our people.
And not Boakai, and not Weah, and not anybody else.
Absolutely not. I think Mr. Boakai is a great statement, he's an elderly statement, but he does not have the tool, the relevant experience to solve the job issue, to prosper this economy, to create improved living standards of our people. Weah has 6 years, and I think he did not deliver on his tax. That's my point of view on that. But I think Musa Hassan Bilete can move the ball forward down the road, and he can deliver the
Benedict, call about 30 seconds.
So I don't want to go to an opposition fight here. What I like to say is that our country is judging the Unity Party, the president's speech, on the basis of the promises that were made. Where are the jobs? Where are the NGOs you promised the people? Where are the companies that you promised the people? They are not. You didn't promise the people shoe shamboo job in the street where police can't take their market from there, it's broken from there, and then they can't have it any longer. I will also say to the Liberian people, what President Boakai said yesterday and what is contained in the arrest agenda, I will endeavor to read one small little portion of a document right here. The World Bank says, the way President Boakai talked yesterday and the thing they said in the arrest agenda, if they continue like that, and they will continue because the GDP will grow on the average of 5.5 up to 2029. If you want Liberia to move forward, anything Joseph Boakai telling you, for it to succeed, it will not happen from now to 2030. It will happen up only in 2050. So it means you have to mortgage your life to the Unity Party up to 2050 before you can see any semblance of GDP per capita. Unfortunately, GDP per capita is not the right measure of the well-being of the people. The well-being of the people is measured by indicators different from GDP. On the basis of that, I can tell you squarely, President Boakai can speak next year again. It's not going to make any change because the foundation of his speech is flawed. The logic of the arrest agenda is illogical. It is colonial. It's not going to move. The World Bank says they can't create job. Anything they're talking, it will not create job.
Thanks so kindly.
If you want to remain with
thanks so kindly,
2050.
More 30 seconds, quickly.
Oh, the man will close 2 times?
Oh, yeah. No, he didn't close.
I'll respond. So Julius, quickly, we are on course to achieving most of the things that we promised in 2023. And by the time we can get to 2028, you will see things changing very, very dramatically. And like the president said, the state of the nation is better than in 2024, and it will be better in 2026 than it was in 2025. Have a good time, and thanks to my colleagues for the debate.
Thanks so kindly. What Daniel Santos sent me for 2025, just created 2024, 2025. Total job I'm seeing here is 61,965. If this is the full document, that is what I am seeing. That yeah?
Oh, and that's everything again?
Yeah, that's what Daniel Santos sent me just now. So again, let's take a quick break. Senator Amara Corner is coming in.
Let's work together. My people, hello. My name is Dr. Catherine Thomas Cooper. I'm the Chief Medical Officer of Liberia. I got good news for everyone. The government and the partners last year started to give malaria vaccine in 6 counties in Liberia in the southeast. We are now ready to carry the vaccine to the remaining 9 counties. My people, the malaria vaccine will be given to children from 5 months all the way up to 2 years. Our children will take the vaccine 4 different times to help reduce malaria from catching them fast and for them not to get sick with malaria. The vaccine is safe, available, and free. No paying money for it. So let us carry our children to the clinic or the hospital for the malaria vaccine. When we carry our children to the clinic or hospital, the doctor people will tell you more about the malaria vaccine. My people, even when your children taking the malaria vaccine, we must always make sure that they sleep under the mosquito net everywhere and every night. Let us also remind you that when our children are taken to the clinic, we must make sure that we carry our baby vaccine card. Carry your 5-month-old children and your children less than 2 years old to the clinic or the hospital for malaria vaccine. The vaccine is safe, available, and free. No paying money. This is a message from the Ministry of Health and her partner.
And welcome back. We have with us Senator Amara Corner of Bapolu County. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Julius. Happy New Year to you and to your listeners in Radio Land.
Many happy returns, and we
Thank you.
And we are glad to always have you.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Make yourself available. Let's start straight in your county.
Yes.
There was a letter circulating that a particular town rejected some $3,000 Liberian dollars that you gave them. That you keep your $3,000 for Christmas or whatsoever, because what they desire from you, their leaders, is far more than that. It's not about those tokenistic gifts. First of all, why will you decide to give to allegedly give people 3,000 LD, a whole town?
No, we didn't do that. It's unfortunate that they tried to politicize it. We've done far more for the people of Bapolu County in all of our districts than that letter insinuated. What I did during the holiday season was to identify with my citizens at the clan level. Clan level. Okay. The idea was that usually there would be clan activities, culminating football games by young people and so on and so forth. So we dispatched our county coordinators with 40,000 LD each for each clan.
How many clans?
I think we have six districts, circa, and we're talking about how many clans here? About 28 clans.
Wow, 28. Yes. So that's 40,000 to each clan.
Yeah. So
let me run my numbers quick and see how much in total. 28 times 40. Okay, 28 times 40. That 40,000. That would be $1.12 million.
Right. And I have to say here that not all of the clients received because of the challenge of transportation.
Okay.
A majority of them did.
Okay.
But then the idea was that, at the clan level, you have the clan chief, you have the elders, then you have the women, the chairlady and the women, then you have the youth, that they will make the decisions on how to spend the money. In this particular instance, they made a decision that since there was no central clan activity, they would just spread the money among the towns so everybody benefits. And then, a son of the town who is a unity partisan, I think he's the AD camp to the president in the county, chose to politicize that. And it was unfortunate.
You went to the superintendent?
No. He's a partisan of the Unity Party.
Okay.
He's from that particular town, but he is the county ADC.
Oh, okay.
In the event the president goes there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then he decided to write that letter. So immediately we contacted the elders, the chiefs, the women, and other young people. They disassociated themselves from it. It's not a big deal. We are still committed to our people. He comes from a district that is basically surrounded by rivers. The St. Paul, bordering it with Bon County. And then you have the Weah River with Lofa, and then you have the Tuma River with the other district of Bokomo. So the one bridge that connected this district with Bopulu, the capital of the county, collapsed some 4 or 5 years ago. We've been working, meaning the caucus, Senator Boakai, myself, and other 3 lawmakers have been working with Public Works Ministry with the help of the chairman of the Public Works Committee, Senator Abache, to reconstruct that bridge, that Bailey Bridge. We are told that it's on a ship now, on the way to Liberia, and it should be installed this dry season. Meanwhile, the bridge on the St. Paul River also, construction has started on that under this Boakai administration. There were some design issues that the Ministry of Public Works is trying to correct, and then they will resume the work. So we're working.
Which one Musa Ability wanted to do that the ministry said?
That was the Broville-Bopulu Highway. Okay. There was a bridge there. The ministry intervened because they assured us that road is earmarked for pavement in the next rounds of PPP contracting on roads.
Can you give us a quick recap? 2025. We all saw your lawmaking initiatives and oversight here, and all of that. But in terms of things you did in your county, what are some of the key things you did in your county in 2025?
Well, we rehabilitated the road from in Bama district from Yangaya Junction into Yangaya and Nyaboya. That road had not been touched for over 2 decades. And then we also reconditioned the road from Yangaya Junction to Weah. This was not a government-funded project. We use our legislative project money to provide temporary relief for our people in Gemulala district by investing that in a ferry that could move about 1 truck and another sedan into this region that I'm talking about until the bridge is fixed. That ferry is ready for deployment. I should have met with the Public Works Deputy Minister for Technical Services today, but because I had to come here, we pushed the meeting to tomorrow. We brought in a consignment of medicines and medical supplies for our hospitals and our clinics, worth some $600,000, fully funded in partnership with friends in the U.S. On the education front, we also brought, I believe, 44 container of school materials, books, and other instructional aids worth about $500,000, which were successfully distributed among the schools in the county. So last year was a good year for us in terms of focusing on health and education. This year we intend to really work with our colleagues on the infrastructure front, particularly the road front, now that the yellow machines are coming.
Okay. Now, The president delivered the annual message to you, the lawmakers, on yesterday. Let's start with your general impression.
Well, the impression is that, unfortunately, I hoped that the president had delivered that yesterday's message in the joint chamber of the legislature that was burned down. Investigation is ongoing. This is the second year that we had to welcome the president in the heat. His guests, cabinet, and other. That I didn't feel good about that at all. I hope that we, in the legislature, the leadership, will correct that problem before the next SONA. But overall, the president, as you know, SONA, the state of the nation, it's a broad statement, that covers nearly everything in the country, from security to the economy to basic services, infrastructure, governance, rule of law, youth employment, so on and so forth. I thought he covered the bases. I used to be in the executive branch before. Ministers and agency heads who don't hear their agencies' record in the speech really are not happy. So that is why SONAs can take so long. But the president did very well. I thought he delivered a good speech, and it's the meat of the speech that is being debated by everybody now.
Mm-hmm. So going into the meat of it, you were at Ministry of Planning, then Minister of Finance and Development Planning.
Yeah.
So a whole lot of these things hang on the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning.
Correct.
The meat, what was your key takeaway?
Okay, let me focus on the bright spots first. Today I deliver a statement, official statement on the president's message yesterday. I agree with the president that the economy is stable, inflation is down, reserves are up, prices have stabilized, exchange rate as well. So on the macro level, things are fine, and I would like to applaud Minister Gafwan and his team at the ministry, and also Governor Samoa and his team at the central bank for working hard, particularly at a time when global uncertainties with all of the tariff and global trade issues, for a country that heavily depends on imports to feed its population, and they were able to stabilize the economy in the midst of all of that is worth commending. But as we know, this is a consumer-based economy, and it is import intensive, puts a lot of pressure on the economy. Anything that happens outside of the economy, which economists call exogenous, can take you off course. So we saw that mid last year, and we hope that the right shocks, absorbers, have been built in the economy to absorb any future shocks. But overall, the economy is stable. But the perennial issue for all of us, including the economic management team, is this bread and butter issue that we all talked about last year. And to define it in simple terms, it's about livelihood, it's about hardships, it's about mom and dad coming home and making sure that their children don't go to bed hungry.
Before we get to that, why is it always the growth numbers? Sometimes they go up, but there is always still this disconnect with the reality on ground.
Correct.
The numbers are going to put, the country, how to get money is not easy.
Okay, so the growth numbers are important because macroeconomics covered the entire country, and the government focuses on that. This is mainly the finance ministry and the central bank's job. Then you got the micro economy, which is commerce, trade, and so on.
That's the MRCRO.
Correct, MRCRO, micro. So this is the one that really we are struggling with. So
why is it the case?
Well, it's a combination of issues. It's a combination of, the circular flow of the economy, if you know what I'm talking about. We talk about government, household, and businesses. So this is very tricky. And our economy is mostly seasonal. July 26th and December, Christmas time. The economic cycle around this period can make or break the other quarters in the economy. And in this case, when the purchasing power of this growing population is not big enough, they cannot buy from businesses. And, it is really, really refreshing to see the magic that Double and his team are doing at the LRA through reinforcements to be able to generate massive domestic revenue in light of the fact that a lot of people are unemployed. So you can see that most of them are in the informal sector, but still contributing, but we are not capturing that. So it makes it difficult for us to understand how the macro at the top level is actually influencing the micro at the household level in our economy. And this is the job of the Ministry of Commerce mainly. And we need to encourage LISJs to begin to track those macro numbers to see what we're doing. But most importantly, the informal sector is where majority of our work, of our labor force is. The carpenters, the bricklayers, the mechanics, the pimping drivers, the keke drivers, and so on. Our economy is not really capturing them. And this is why in my opening to the Senate upon our return, I talk about that, and I'm currently working with colleagues, including with the Vice President's office, to try to make sense out of that and propose a bill that is going to protect that sector in ways that we've never seen before, so that we can see the true size of the economy.
Okay, now, 5.1% confirmed by the IMF today in their release on the 2025 growth numbers of the economy. The president also went forward to talk about the reduction in prices, of some basic commodities. So then it should be speaking in the lives of the people. If prices reduce, that should help the purchasing power of the population, isn't it?
True, you're right. And first, the IMF numbers. This is great. We met with the IMF last week, I believe, at the Senate. The mission was in town. They told us about this, and some of us really encouraged them to be cautious with releasing numbers, maybe prematurely, because you recall at some point last year, they released a revised growth number, and that really showed that the economy had contracted, to 4.0%, and then they've come back now to say 5.1. So we encourage them to really work closely with the authorities here, the executive branch, LSJ's finance ministry, and so on, to make sure that they agree on the numbers before they release them. Because when we make appropriation decisions vis-a-vis the budget in the legislature, the first few pages that the president includes, the finance ministry includes in the budget are the growth projections. So the budget is expected to grow. So you make this decision, and the future budget, like when they say projection for 2027 now, you will see it in the budget. It's based on the growth numbers. So it helps to make, good decision. And if the numbers are not refined and agreed, to by the parties, the authorities, and the fund, it makes life difficult, particularly for the Ministry of Finance. That's one. Second, what was the second issue? The president talked about, what was it? The prices. Yeah. In my statement today, I applauded the president for the intervention that his government made on prices led by the vice president last year. But the truth of the matter is prices are still high in many places across the country, because even though we've seen a reduction here in Monrovia in major commodities like rice and so on, And we've seen a reduction in the storage fees at FPRC. Drivers are still charging fares that they were charging before the reduction in the storage fees. So this
people keep complaining about that.
Correct. So this is affecting.
So what are you, the leaders, going to do about that?
Well, we just have to continue to remind the president, because he's working on it. He's made some progress. The VP is heading that. He's the president of our Senate. We continue to talk to him. We continue to flag them in our counties. Some counties are better. Some are struggling. Our responsibility is to keep reminding them how this is impacting our people. And this year, with this new focus now, this is the third year of the administration and the biggest budget in the history of the country. I think it's an opportunity to course correct and fix most of these problems.
Do you see it significantly altering the course of national development, this budget?
Yes, I'm very optimistic, with strong revenue generation. And we see, more increasing fiscal discipline. I am positive. I think our challenge is going to be implementation and the audacity to hold each other accountable. To say, hey, Julius, come on, you're moving slowly. You have to deliver. We don't have much time. That kind of constructive engagement.
And are people going to get used to that and not try
No,
to
our culture, as you know, is hierarchical. We have, when you're a minister here or you're a big person or maybe you have political ambition, every criticism, constructive or otherwise, is very sensitive to you. And then people tend to react, in the negative. He's trying to undermine me, he's trying to do this, trying to do that. But if we, particularly our generation, if we really want to be the leaders of tomorrow and fix this country and build better on what our father's generation didn't accomplish, then we have to remain friends and agree that we will tap your shoulder and say, hey, you got to move fast, you're moving slowly. Otherwise things are going to affect all of us. And I think people should take that in good spirit.
One of the key takeaways from this whole SONA has been this, and we'll get your perspectives on it.
Yeah.
Job creation remains the top priority for my administration. Our job creation strategy has focused on addressing the binding and structural constraints to growth, including investment in roads, energy. In this connection, we have created more than 70,000 short and medium-term jobs across the infrastructure, agriculture, social protection, and small businesses, among other sectors. Going forward, the Youth Entrepreneurship and Investment Bank project launched in 20...
Okay, we'll bring that down. But people were alarmed by the numbers. Short to medium-term jobs, 70,000. Were you alarmed?
No, I was not, for the following reasons. One, the president did mention in his statement that these were short-term, temporary jobs.
Yeah, short-term to medium-term.
Yeah, medium-term. Most people miss that. That's number one. Number two, I'm also, there's a lot of data out there, but the ones that most of us work with is the World Bank data on the employment situation in our country. All right, the World Bank, estimates that 2.8%, of formal sector jobs. People working in the formal sector are unemployed, and the official number of Liberians working in the formal sector, meaning white-collar job and so on and so forth, mining and other things, is about 2.6 million. That data is out there. I think what the speech writers didn't do was to put this into proper context for the president to deliver in ways that the country will understand. And they missed that opportunity, and this is where the confusion is coming from. But these, like the president said, were short-term jobs. They were not sustainable jobs. They were not jobs that will go on forever.
Would you advise him to have reported on them? Is it?
Yeah,
what is the significance?
But differently, I would have advised him to acknowledge that there is indeed an unemployment crisis in the country. His government in the first 2 years have struggled to deal with that, but with the recent investment instruments that he sent to the legislature, which were all ratified, now offers an opportunity for him and his team to begin to address that problem. That would have been more honest and put it in more context. But the way people are reading it, particularly with the politicians, if you look at the 2.8% and then you look at the 2.6 million, if you were to do the math and then take the 17 million, basically you're telling the country that your economy is at full employment in the formal sector, which is not the case. I think this is where the confusion is coming from.
So, others are arguing, well, those are things that happen in 2025. Others say, well, no, that is not what the Unity Party said. They were not telling people about short-term jobs. They were talking about transforming life.
I think whoever is saying that should stop, because, that's not true, and the data does not support that. My honest advice to my friends in the UP is to acknowledge that the unemployment challenge in this country. Yes, short-term jobs were created. Every government has done that. But I can challenge you today, if we knew the names and the phone numbers of most of the people in that 70 million group, they would tell you that they are now working. 70,000 group, they would tell you that they are now working. So those of us who look at the formal sector know that with this number, if those who are making that case would tell you that the formal sector economy is at full employment. That's not true. What we need to understand is that the majority of our economy and those working in the economy are in the informal sector. These people are not being counted. In Côte d'Ivoire, for example, a taxi driver is calculated in the employment census. Okay? Here, it's not. Why? Because we did this when I was Minister of Planning. You can ask Minister, I believe...
Is it the vulnerable employment time?
Excuse me?
When the war, vulnerable employment was...
Correct. Vulnerable employment, exactly.
That was a big thing.
That was a big thing. We were even afraid to tell the country what the official unemployment numbers were. Everybody in the cabinet was afraid to say it.
It was big.
And so we just left it. And since that time, I don't recall, and I stand to be corrected, that any government has attempted to really do the employment census of this country in both the formal and the informal sector. Somebody is alive and has, institutional knowledge about this, and Dr. Liberty. Yeah, he did this, and we gave him all the support. The donors gave all the support. But because of politics, we were afraid to announce the policy.
Now, you are in the legislature. You play a very crucial role in all of these things. The president will always send bills and all of that. What do you think needs to happen from your end, the legislature, the Senate, to really speed up this growth and development of the country?
Well, I've spent 2 years in the legislature now. It's different from the way we work in the executive branch. There are good men and women there. I've met a lot of them. But I also see that most of us are conflicted by our politics. Sometimes you don't want to say much about the executive because maybe you want something from the president, and therefore you will just let certain things slide. And this is normal. It's not just unique to Liberia. This is everywhere. Just imagine 1.2 billion. About 95 to 96% of that is at the disposal of the president. The remaining 4% or so, the other two branches, the legislature and the judiciary. So if you try to sort of try to be objective as much as possible so that whatever the president is sending to you can have big effect on the country. And you can't do that without speaking out. Then you probably could hurt your chances of tapping into that 95% of the 1.2 billion for, for something in your district or in your county or so on and so forth. And this is where the whole thing about micro and macro mismatch come into play. So we saw that recently in the legislature. The president got everything he sent. So I think President Boakai is in a better position going into the third year, midway into his 6-year term, with more money, the biggest in the history of the country, more investment instruments, which if he was to successfully operationalize by June, could turn the corner for the country. It could be a political win for him, but everybody will benefit. We just hope that companies like Oranto and others who have questionable records will make the rest of us shame those who raise red flags about them.
Yeah, but how did everything just pass when clearly even the Senegalese now, I was reading the other day papers that they've revoked the license of Oranto because certain payments they were supposed to make, they couldn't make. But you are the senators, you sat there, you allowed those things to pass. HPX visibly had a whole lot of red flags as per the report that we saw. So what happened? How did all of those things?
Julius, two countries, different politics, different leaders, different needs. Senegal is a much bigger economy, much more developed than Liberia. Kudos to all the former presidents before President Boakai, all of our colleagues in the legislature and the executive branch who helped to bring our country this far. But we are still a shallow economy. And so anything that comes our way, we want to make it work. And it is in that moment that we forget that the devil is always in the details. And if we don't identify the devil in the details, implementation becomes difficult. And then somebody comes and says it was a bogus deal and this and that. These are all done with good intention. But I think our biggest challenge in our country post-conflict really has been implementation. Here in this country, we don't lack accountability. I'm sure in your radio station here, if somebody, an employee, forgot to clean the bathroom or dust your table here for your guests and so on, that person, you come here to run the show, but you don't stay here to make sure that the place is conducive for your guests and it looks nice on camera for your audience so that you can get more viewership. Whoever is here to push those people to do it, always get pushback from them. It's a cultural issue. Until we can change our work culture and our habit in the work environment, the way we view feedback, as criticism.
And those translate into national leadership.
Yes, it is. It's a cultural issue. We used to hear when you speak out and say this is not working, let's change it. People think automatically you think you're smarter than them, or you're showing off, and they say all kinds of things just to neutralize you. You have to have the mindset. If you really care about the country and genuinely you're in it to make the country better, you can't allow them to silence you. You have to keep talking.
So, in terms of these bills, which ones did you vote for? Which ones didn't you vote for the investment?
Well, on the record, everybody knows I voted for everything President Boakai has sent, except for the Oranto deal. I voted against that. The HPX deal, HPX is a good company, an American company. Our relationship with the U.S. interests and so on. The U.S. has been very good to me. I'll push any interest it has in this country. But in the case of HPX, a joint committee was organized The committee held public hearings. The report was written, but we, I'm not going to say any particular person, we, the Senate plenary, ignored that report and voted. And for me, I thought that didn't reflect well on us, so I abstained, from that. So those are the two that I really...
You have any idea why you people chose to sidestep it?
Well, the debate was open. Some committee members said that the chairman of the Joint Committee, Senator Sir Joseph, did not share the report with them, so they couldn't sign. But I saw the report. I saw that most of the committee members signed it. The chairman overprotected it and therefore created this ugly environment, which to me did not reflect positively on the Senate, the House of Elders, that should operate differently perhaps from the House of Representatives.
This is 2026. Yeah. What is your focus this year?
Well, the President pro tempore has outlined the legislative agenda for the Senate. Our agenda is aligned to that, to support that. And this has to do with the continuing reforms in the Senate. It has to do with bills that are stuck in committee room. Notably, the President talked about the transition bill yesterday. I am a co-sponsor of that. Okay. We've been pushing that in the Judiciary Committee. We hope it can come out. We really need to make sure that we put our transition into perspective, guided by laws. We also need to really think about our elected officials. I'm not talking about the legislature, because I know that there's a public outcry about the benefits we get there, and I understand that. But in the case of presidents and vice presidents, when they leave office, the benefits we have for them is too small. It does not create the incentive for you to go out there and be an effective ex-president, engaging young people, community, etc., to share your experience and so on. And this also leaves the room for people to steal money when they are in office. So we hope that this bill that is stuck in the Judiciary Committee room can be fast-tracked this year so that we put this to bed. The other priority for us really is the issue of public accounts and expenditures and so on. We started the debate last year. My friends didn't like that in the UP. I think I came here one time to talk about that when we raised some of the observations we made on the budget that was submitted. They said, oh, I'm rushing, I should wait for the outturn and so on. So we will wait for the outturn and we will scrutinize it. We'll work with them. Whatever we see, we'll try at the level of the Public Accounts Committee to share with them for clarity and so on. So we'll focus on public expenditure, audit reports, so on in the Senate this year.
President Boakai has been in power 2 years. The UP second return, generally, just off the cuff, how will you grade the performance of his government so far? I
try to stay away from grading.
Why?
From assigning grades, because they're subjective. I want to focus on what...
Has he done well? Is he doing well?
Yes, in some areas, but he's still struggling in other areas. And for example, President Boakai has done extremely well to maintain the integrity of the territorial integrity of our country. The security sector is calm. Of course, there are always issues, but
those are things that other presidents did. Ellen did.
You asked me about President Boakai.
Yeah, Boakai.
When Ellen was there,
it's not extraordinary.
No. But you got to talk about it. Somebody could come and mess it up. Okay. He's the commander-in-chief. Mm-hmm. That's a very important role of the president.
Okay.
And so far, he started off, remember, there was a near mutiny here when he started the first few weeks or so. But since it came under control, the army has consolidated behind his commandership as commander-in-chief. The police is doing its best. There's still room for improvement and so on. We don't hear about NSA going after people and arresting them for political reasons and so on. So we need to commend that, because that is the beginning of attracting the necessary investments we need in this country. But where the president, in my view, maybe because of the separation of power, need to look at is the justice system and the judiciary, that intersection where you can fix the justice system, the prosecutorial systems of our executive branch, and also the judiciary. The courts are still managing cases in undesirable ways. I think there can be some conversation there to make sure that with strong security, with stable security, with a transparent, corrupt-free justice system and a corrupt court system, you will begin to see that we can turn the corner to buttress the efforts of our colleagues who are managing the economy for us, because that's the only way we're going to attract much-needed capital into the country and create the jobs to address this unemployment crisis.
2029.
You also did well on the foreign policy front, no question about that. And there were people who were not too happy with the current minister when he nominated her, but the Senate confirmed her because the public didn't know what we knew. And here we are. Liberia is at a different level when it comes to foreign policy. The economy is stable, like I said earlier. I think infrastructure, electricity, even though we see some stress in that system now, but relatively stable there. And I think with additional funding, the new management can expand, generation capacity in the next year or so to address this perennial issue of dry season shortage. The area that the president can do well on, honestly, and he talked about it yesterday when he said that he was going to personally lead the effort to relocate the Palm Grove Cemetery in the broader context of filthy Monrovia, the oldest republic next to Ethiopia on the African continent. Monrovia today does not represent the age of our country. And I think whatever he can do as the leader to steer all of us to make that better, it will be in the right direction. Sanitation, Mo Ali was just here. I said today that he's done well to connect some communities, and that's going well. He needs the funding to increase that. But sanitation is lagging behind, and this is affecting health outcomes with everything the health ministry is doing. And that, plus the challenges, the continuing challenges of volunteer teachers in classroom, most of whom are not qualified, is affecting our standing on the Global Human Development Index when we are like 178, on that list. So those are some of the things I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, we'll take just few calls, but before that, in just 15 seconds, 3 years from now will be 2029. We know Musa Ability wants to be president. We know other people who already want to be president. Amara Kone, Senator, Bapolu County. Are you eyeing the presidency 2029?
No, I have not developed the fire in my belly yet to eye the presidency. Seriously, and I'm being honest. I want to be a good senator. I want to be an independent voice. I want to be able to work with other people on tough issues. And I want to focus on that over the next few years.
Are you positioned as well for the vice presidency?
No, I haven't had any discussion with anybody. As you know, I'm not in a political party.
No one needs to contact you now. But someone could, you could, as a senator, you could, how about that kind of feeling that if someone approaches me, I will accept?
I know that nobody can ascend to the presidency or vice presidency in this country without a coalition. When I join a coalition in the future, and my coalition colleagues deem that I I can be a better VP or something else, and they are willing to take the chance with me, then we'll discuss it at that point.
When you say when I join a coalition, means you're not using a supposition. You're not saying if. That is, it is something that will happen.
Every elections in this, I've participated in every election in this country since 2005 election, and I have been part of winning coalitions. That is what I'm talking about. I don't necessarily have to be in a particular political party, but I've always been at the table in that coalition, whether as a technical person early on in my electioneering career, or a cabinet minister later on, or a candidate on the ballot. In this case, I have always been part of a coalition, and we've always won.
Okay. 777-700-995, perhaps 2 or 3 calls, not many. Folks, you have to bear with that. Let's just, it was important to hold this discussion with him. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. We have with us Bapolu Senator Amara Kone. Let's take 2 or 3 calls. Let's see who's coming in here. The lines are now open. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Eddie Johnson. I call you from Singapore.
Who, Eddie or Ellie?
Eddie.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yes. Thank you for Senator Kone. Julius, I always listen to Senator Kone. And I believe that Senator Kone is one of the independent voice of this country. I just want to thank you. And I want yesterday, I didn't hear the president talk too much about the war crime court and reconciliation. What is take on that?
Okay. Thanks so kindly. Let's see who's right here. Welcome. Let's hear you from Assistant Minister Jefferson Chesson.
Thank you, Julius, and good evening to your studio guests. Our Senator, I know you spoke about the employment. I just want you to be clear, not trying to sanitize, the misinformation. From your observation, from where you sit, did this government in 2005 create 70,000 jobs?
2025.
Yes, in 2025, create 70,000 jobs?
Short and medium-term jobs.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks so kindly. Let's see who's right here. Let's go international. Frank Gibson, all the way there from Paris. Frank, welcome.
Good afternoon, Julius, and good afternoon to Honorable Kone. Now, it is now confirmed that there was actually 3,000 Liberian dollars given to those people. Whether the government is for Unity Party or what, Senator Kone has just confirmed that yes, he did give the people to me.
No, that is not what he said. No. As the man, you heard the man clearly. The man gave each clan 40,000, and they were supposed to have activities. Hello, now. Hello, Chief. Hello? But when I'm Frank, the many gave the money that y'all go share it on towns. They said they were supposed to have games and all those kinds of stuff.
Yeah, 3,000 money anyway. Thank you for that, Honorable Kone. And what I say here is that Honorable Kone said he does some legislative work, not with government money. But in the same vein, he said it was a legislative money that was that's being cheap, It is shameful that lawmaker will sit and say, yes, they got 150,000 of the Liberian money separate from their budget, from their salary, and they still pay the federal government money.
Okay, thanks. Okay, thanks so kindly. Let's bring in this final one from the international line. Welcome. Let's hear you. Hello. I don't know why this call is not okay. Let's squeeze in. Let's try this one again on the international line. Welcome quickly. Hello. Hello.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I don't know what is happening again. I'm not hearing you. You need to speak differently. The way you did it first.
Thank you, Julius.
Okay.
Sylvester P. Weah quickly. Let me say a wonderful good afternoon to the Senator.
The neo-progressive movement, the moribund.
Yes. Let me bring to the attention of the Senator, because he served the last Minister of Planning and Economic Affairs, then went transition to the Minister of Finance, and then eventually they merged the Minister of Planning and Economic Affairs with the Minister of Finance and Development Planning, and also bringing the former Budget Bureau. But I listened to the President yesterday in his legislative agenda. He said he's going to be submitting to the Honorable Legislature, the National Planning Commission to strengthen development planning and budgeting. I just want to find out from the center, is that not overlapping, basically?
Or maybe going back to what existed before. I saw a post from George Weah, and he seems...
Exactly. I want the senator to really comment on that, because he's about the last minutes of...
Okay, thanks. So kindly, because of time, we'll give the senator 1 minute, 30 seconds.
Okay, I will start from the last and then go up. Hopefully we'll do it. First, Sylvester, on this one, I assume that the president has had conversation with Minister Gafuan about this. We created the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning that brought in the Ministry of Planning and took out the revenue component some 10 years ago. You know, it's been a decade. So from time to time, we should refresh our institution. We should review what is working and what is not working. I think what I have heard from people in the executives is that the planning function in the ministry, though it's working, but could be much improved. And I think the president and the minister can benefit from second opinions, in my view. So the planning commission, I hope the president will add also planning and economic commission, can be there as independent voices reporting to the president, where he will be able to be in a position to align what the Ministry of Finance is proposing in terms of economic planning and development with these independent thinkers, so that we can get the best outcome. It doesn't hurt to review that, and I will support that if that is the agreement between the minister and the president. On the job front, former Assistant Minister Chessin, I said in my discussion with Julius, I also mentioned it today in my statement on the SONA, that yes, I do believe that the government created the 70,000 jobs, but these were just short-term, temporary jobs. They could be the beach workers, they could be roadside, brushers. There could be many things. All of us did that. The CDC did that. The first UP government did that. But these are not sustainable jobs. I think the context in which the president put it, and we got to be fair. I know politics is charged. We got to be fair that he says short to medium-term jobs. So that tells you right there that these are not long-term sustainable jobs, which is what we need. And I think that's what the president ought to focus on. These short-term jobs are relief interventions, but they don't solve the unemployment crisis. And then on the war crimes code, I don't remember the name of the person. The president didn't talk about it yesterday, but my chief of staff was talking about this this morning, that we should perhaps talk to the pro tem and other colleagues to see if we can bring in the head of that body that was created by executive order to see where we are, because all of us voted for that, and for some reason it's gone cold. It's like we're kicking the can down the road. We need to solve that. And frankly, to Frank in Paris, I can understand that you're not, you probably struggle with language, maybe because you live in France. Maybe you speak more French than English. But I was very clear that I sent that money at the clan level, how much it was, how many clans. That's a lot of money. And besides that, we take care of personal requests coming to our office. So you want to say that in French next time? No, vous parlez pas français bien.
D'accord. So okay. His name is Senator Amra Kone, Buffalo County. That's how we go on that light-hearted note. My name is Julius J. Tomorrow will be another day. We're out. The news is up next.
From the golden sand of Maryland County to the lush forest of the western region, from the heights of Watagisi Mountain to the vibrant shoals of Monserrato, the heart of our nation, when news breaks, we are already there, live, local, and trusted. bringing you the stories that matter. OKFM, just the best.